Hey fam, welcome back to my channel. We are now on episode 2 of my intuitive eating series. Intuitive eating is all about eating mindfully. And so for the perfect plate for intuitive eating, you want to break this up into your different meal types. And so for the first meal, we're focusing on breakfast. And really for this yogurt bowl, we're focusing on protein intake as well as carbs. This meal itself is low in fat because we have non-fat Greek yogurt, but there is plenty of nutrients from the berries, from the yogurt with the protein, and then we have some healthy carbs from our granola as well as sliced almonds. The perfect plate for breakfast for intuitive eating has a good balance of carbs, proteins, and fats, but you also want to make sure that you're following the portion sizes for each of these foods. That way that you'll be nice and full until your next meal. And there's nothing wrong with adding sweetener. I just make sure to measure out my maple syrup so that I get no more than the portion size. So for the perfect plate for lunch, again, we're focusing on those macros. You'll hear me say that multiple times in this video, but we're gonna get in more fats, and this will come in the form of avocados as well as eggs. And I love making my own version of avocado toast. I'm just mashing it up myself, adding in some seasonings before I put it on the bread. When creating the perfect lunch plate for intuitive eating, I like to keep it nice and light. So we're just having one slice of avocado toast. It'll just be whole wheat toast as well as having a nice full salad. Portion control is a major key when eating intuitively. That's why I just stick to one slice of toast, but also when measuring out for the avocado, only 1/3 of avocado is a portion size, so I make sure to only have about 1/3 of the avocado that I've mashed before putting it on the slice of toast, and it's just enough of the amount that I need. To give myself a little bit more protein for this meal, I added 2 eggs, so I just only put 1 of the eggs on the slice of toast, and then later on I will be slicing up another boiled egg, which will just kind of be by itself. Now when it comes to the salad, I don't portion control at all. Spinach is only about 7 calories per serving, so I like to load up as much as I can. Then I'm also adding in some shredded carrots. Those are barely any calories, and then I top it off with a few cherry tomatoes. I like to also add in some freshly ground black pepper for a little bit of bite. And lastly, I'm adding on some shaved Parmesan cheese, which has a little bit of protein as well as a little bit of fat. Again, the perfect plate for lunch will be nice and light. You don't want any of your meals to feel heavy, but also has so much nutritional value. You don't want to eat something that about 10 minutes later, you're going to be hungry again, which is how I feel whenever I eat any chips. When making your perfect plate, you definitely want to spice it up. Add as many toppings as you want that can really give it as much flavor. For these boiled eggs, I'm actually adding in pepperoncinis as well as my regular spices of salt and pepper, and then topping it off with some Cholula hot sauce. Don't knock it till you try it. This is absolutely delicious. And lastly, on my salad, I'm just adding on some balsamic vinaigrette. And that is it for lunch. It was absolutely delicious, very filling, but it was everything that my body needed. We have a theme here. The perfect plate for dinner is also going to be a balance of protein as well as carbs and fats. Now, for this dinner is mostly going to be leftovers, but I was also making some fresh sauteed broccoli because I didn't have any vegetables that were left over. So the steam is going to do most of the work here. I'm just going to have it on a low heat and let that cook for a few minutes. While that's cooking, I'm just cutting up some leftover baked chicken breasts. These were pretty thick pieces, so I just cut them up just to make it easier for me to get in the portion that I want. It looks like a lot of chicken. It wasn't too much, but it was just enough of what I needed for my macros for the day. After I've sliced up my chicken, I'm adding my brown rice. This was actually turmeric brown rice, which is why it's yellow. I like to get in the inflammatory benefits of turmeric, so I add it to as many foods as possible. And then we're just gonna add in our broccoli, and that is the meal for dinner. You'll notice that my carb is actually my smallest portion size on the plate, and the broccoli is the biggest. Your veggies should always be the most important part of the meal, and center everything around that. Now that you've seen the perfect plate for intuitive eating for breakfast, lunch, and dinner, head over to my intuitive eating playlist where I give you more tips and tricks so that you can get started with intuitive eating yourself. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Bye, guys.